Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, as promised, I'm back. I told you I'm like back for real, like really back. You know what I'm saying? Although I won't be back on until Monday night, but I'm back in the groove of things. And tonight I got my man Tony Crow from Knicks and Bruises on the show. And we're gonna talk about who could be a surprise player for the Knicks this year. You know, just a little short conversation. Who can be a surprise player? Tony, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling?
I'm good, Sim. I'm good. Shout out to the chat. Yo, Black, it's time. How are you?
I'm good, man. You know, just came back from the gym. You know, watching the Ravens in Kansas City. Ready for the Giants to play this weekend versus Minnesota. You know, hoping we can have a surprise season with the Giants. See what go. You know, we're gonna see what happens there. But I'm good. How you? I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. So what do you think? Who? The team is stacked with players, right? It seems like the roster is set. The rotations, for the most part, seem like they're set. Is there a player on this team, on the training camp roster, that's going to be in the G League, or maybe one of a player that you don't suspect that could actually rise up and surpass some of the players that we look at and say, oh yeah, these are your top 4, top 5 players? Is there someone who can really surprise Tom Thibodeau, surprise the fans, and either scratch out some playing time or replace somebody in the lineup, or just be a better player than we thought they were going to be?
So, I actually touched on this topic on my previous show. So, I got a bunch of different directions I could go on here. The way I looked at it is our weakest positions right now is backup center and backup point guard.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm taking an educated guess, I would think it would come from one of those two spots.
All right.
Whether it's Tyler the Creator.
I like that name, Tyler the Creator. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The brother can pass the ball. He's a creator, creates a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah, go ahead.
So either him, maybe Precious, exceeding his production from last year, or even Sims, where it's the first offseason that he's had to actually work out. Reports came out he's been injured every previous offseason, so he's been kind of behind the ball when it comes to working out and developing and things of that nature. So like an educated guess, I would go with one of those directions: backup point guard, backup center.
Okay, all right. Someone who would be a surprise for me if they really step their game up and could maybe step their game up, I'm going to say OG. Right? I mean, right now people are looking and saying, Brunson, Randall, Mikal Bridges, right? That's your top 3 players, top 3 scorers. And then, I don't even know if people are looking at OG as one of your top 4 scorers. They might be looking at Dante DiVincenzo out there, right? But if we see OG the game that he got hurt, the playoff game that he got hurt versus Indiana, that was a different OG offensively than I've seen before. A different OG. And if something clicked in him in that game, right, we could be talking about OG having a surprise season. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say, better than this player, that player, but just having a surprise season in the way that he scores the basketball. Because right now, what OG is simply, I'm going to catch the ball, shoot it from the corner. Maybe I'll get, I'll slash to the basket and get a dunk. Every once in a while, maybe I'll create something. But if somehow, some way, something clicked in him and understanding that he can do these things, maybe he can have a surprise season in the way that he scores the ball for the Knicks this year. And that would be so huge. So huge if he stepped up in that way.
Sam, I remember us talking about it that game. I think that's the game we watched. You and I watched. You know what I mean, together.
Yeah.
And I remember us talking about it. Like, yo, if this is who, like, it looked like something clicked from the beginning of the game on. You know what I mean, up until the hamstring.
Right.
It looked like you said, a different OG. It looked like something clicked. Aggressive, assertive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't just waiting for the opportunities. He was taking the opportunities.
He was taking them, right. And you know, part of it I think was because he had to. Right? He had to. It was nobody else out there. He had to pick up the scoring load. I guess what scares me about it with him, I don't want to say what scares me, but I don't know if he has the mentality to be that assertive with Brunson and Bridges and Randall out there on the floor, or even Dante DiVincenzo out there. I don't know. I just don't know if he has the mentality to be that assertive. But I mean, he's shown that he can do it. You know, can he do it consistently? If something clicked and he found out and he figured out that he can do this, and he figured out that he just has to assert himself, you know, that could really, really, really change the trajectory of the team. Or, I mean, we're already looking at the team as a title contender, but if OG steps into that kind of a role, and you still got Bridges and Brunson and Randall and Dante DiVincenzo that can score, man, you know what I'm saying? I mean, now you're really looking scary with so many people that can get the job done. You know, obviously everyone's not going to average 15 to 20, but you know you got 5 guys that can get you that. You might know that already now, that you got 5 guys that can get you 15 to 20 points on any given night.
Given night.
You know.
Yep.
But OG could maybe, you know, if something clicked in him, maybe he could surprise some people.
Yeah, I feel like anybody could potentially get a boost, right?
Mm-hmm.
OG is gonna have a little less of a task night in and night out with the help he gets from Mikal. And then you could say the same for Mikal, so it's vice versa. You know, these 2 guys on the floor, they're gonna help each other defensively and lighten that load for each other, and maybe that could help boost their scoring. You know what I mean? So I think that you can make the argument either way. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can make it for Mikal, and Mikal is kind of like a catch-22, or maybe that's the wrong phrase, but he didn't live up to the expectation.
Okay.
You know, in Brooklyn. So you could see that kind of.
What would be a surprise season for Bridges, though? You know what I mean? Because I mean, what's he already? You know, what are his averages already? 19 points a game or something like that.
Yeah, I think 20, like 22 to 24. I'm talking about, like, for a surprise from him, 22 to 24 points per game, but then having those splits from the Suns. So if he could get to be like 50, 40, 90 guy, which I think is very, very possible for him, you know what I mean, and still have that increased production. Yeah, that you know what I mean, like, because that's the difference between, in Phoenix it was like 14 to 18 maybe, but the splits were high. Brooklyn, the numbers went up, but the percentages went down. You know what I mean? So if he could kind of bring the best of both worlds, or on the best of both teams here,
right?
Yeah, and right. I think it's possible because he's gonna have a lot more help on both ends of the floor. So again, he's not gonna have to guard the best guy night in and night out, and the workload he don't have to create as much
right
now. You know what I mean? Now the buckets are going to be a little bit easier, a little bit less contested. He's not going to be double teamed night in and night out.
Yeah.
Which I think brought his splits down in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Brooklyn.
You heard? Did you read somewhere that Philadelphia is actually thinking about moving their team to Jersey?
Mm-hmm.
To New Jersey.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Philly mad.
That'd be crazy. I mean, if they do it, it's going to be Jersey that's around Philly. They may not change the name. They might just move the location of the team. I don't know.
Well, I heard it's going to be Camden, so it's going to be Camden. At least 30 minutes.
30 minutes, yeah. I think for Mikal Bridges to have like a surprise season, it'd be like if he's averaging 26 points a game. Right? For me, that would be a surprise. Like, oh, snap. Okay, he's doing that. If he's giving us 18, 19, I think that might be what I expect from him right now. You know what I mean? 24, 20, even 22, 23 might be a little bit of a surprise season for me. You know what I'm saying? And showing that he's jumped up a level.
Yeah, because I mean, my question would be, you expect somebody's numbers to go down, right? You don't expect Brunson to get average 28 or better, and Randall average 24, you know what I mean, or better. You know what I mean? Like, one of their numbers has to go down.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think I was muted for a second. So
I heard you.
Yeah, I know you heard me. I don't think they heard me. I think they might not have heard me. I think I was muted for a second. But again, I'll go back and I'll say I think for Mikal Bridges, for him to have a surprise season for me is, if he's averaging 25, 26 points a game, I think that would be a surprise season for Bridges. If it's 22, 23, it might be a surprise season. I'm expecting 18, 19 points per game from Bridges. That's what I'm expecting. If he's giving me 22, 23, or 25, somewhere around there, then I think that's probably going to be a surprise. That would be a surprise for me if he's giving us that.
What's your expectation on OG right now?
15, 12 to 15 points a game. Yeah, that's my expectation on OG, 12 to 15 points per game. If OG steps, if he realized some of the things that he can do, if something clicked, and he's giving us 20 a game, that would be, that would be a surprise to me. But I'm expecting OG to give us, 12 to 15 points a game and spectacular defense. And then there'll be some nights when there's players that are hurt, et cetera, and OG will, have a big night, I think. There'll be some nights like that, of course. But for the most part, I think that's what OG gives us. I don't know if there's anything from Brunson or Randall that can surprise me. You know what I mean? They're going to do what they do. I just, I don't know what. Okay, if Brunson is giving me 33 points a game, maybe that'll surprise me. Right? But for the most part, I don't know if there's anything that Brunson and Randall can do that's going to surprise me. Right? It's going to be the other guys. Dante DiVincenzo could be someone who surprises. You know what I mean? He had maybe his best season last year. He's right at the cusp of being in his prime or already in his prime. That's the thing about Bridges. He's 28 years old. He's entering his prime. Everyone looks at Mikal Bridges as being young. He's not, he's kind of he's the age of a young vet at 28. Right? He's the age of a young vet. I mean, he's still got years to go, but he's the age of a young vet. Dante DiVincenzo, though, he might be just entering his prime, and we might not have seen the best of Dante. Maybe he could be on tap for Sixth Man of the Year. He could. He could be on tap for Sixth Man of the Year, giving you 15 a game or something like that. You know what I mean? Because he played his ass off last year.
Yes, he did.
Played his ass off. I mean, it'd be nice for the Knicks to have at least 2 All-Stars and then 1 Six-Man of the Year candidate on the team.
Sim, I'm looking. My next show is all about awards, and I think we can have them all across. You know what I mean? All across the board. We can have a couple of awards.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think Dante could have that type of a season, 6-Man of the Year type season. I don't see Josh Hart being a surprise player. He's going to do what he does. I don't see, Josh Hart might have been a surprise player for the Knicks last year. Right? Now we know, but he might have been the surprise of the season last year.
There was candidates all across the board last year as well. I mean, we talked about as far as like the dark horses from last year.
Mm-hmm.
Deuce obviously came out when he got his opportunity and was blazing. Dante, I Heart. You know what I mean?
Heart was kind of a surprise last year. There were a lot of surprises last year, no doubt about it. There was mad surprises last year for the Knicks. There was mad surprises last year. Could Mitch do anything to be a surprise player for you?
65 games and being healthy in the playoffs.
Right.
65 plus the playoffs.
Okay.
That you know what I mean? That'll be the.
Yeah. I think your likely candidates, though, you're right, is going to be guys like Tyler Kolek, if he's able to somehow find a way to crack the lineup. I think that, for me, that would be a surprise if he's able to crack the lineup, because you got Deuce, you got Campaign, you got Dante DiVincenzo. I don't know where he finds any way to crack that lineup with those 3 players there, but if he does even crack the lineup and he's in the rotation, that would be a big surprise for me. And that'd be a huge surprise. I mean, they obviously think a lot of the kid, right, for giving him a contract and all of that. They think a lot of him. Maybe there's a chance. Obviously, the Knicks are probably going to be looking to make a move to get a backup center, which means some of these guards, there's a glut at the backup guard position. So one of these guys might go. 1 or 2 of these guys might go, which could open up room for a guy like Tyler Kolek, to step in and play. But if he is able to crack the lineup, for me, that would be a surprise. Would it be for you?
Yeah, I gotta see it to believe it. I heard the reports or whatever the case, but like I said, last year, once Deuce got his spot, he's not giving it up freely. You know what I mean? Mm-mm. He's a worker, and he don't look over his shoulder. You know what I mean? Like he looked forward. Yeah. When he had to work his way up, he was looking forward. And then when guys was behind him, he ain't even looked their way. He just kept doing his job and improving. So I can't see. I got to see it to believe it. But to be honest,
yeah.
But like you said, maybe he becomes a trade candidate or a trade option, and then that opens up space for Tyler. I mean, and we haven't even talked about Campaign. Mm-hmm. and him, you know what I mean? Like, even Tyler jumping Campaign is a surprise if that's the case.
Right.
Considering rookie, veteran, you know what I mean? We've seen what Cam has done throughout his career. Mm-hmm. And he's a guy, again, he's like I said yesterday, he if you look at his backstory and his journey into the league, out the league, and then back in, you know what I mean? Like he's not taking anything for granted. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he's gonna fight for his spot as well.
Right. And Deuce could have a breakout season. I mean, there's so many guards and so many players on the team that can ball. It's going to be hard for a guy like Deuce to have a breakout season, I think, because you got Dante DiVincenzo that can score the basketball. I mean, Deuce is going to have his chances. There's no doubt about it. But his playing time, unless people get hurt, his playing time might be. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I guess we'll have to
What's a
see because
breakout?
because
What's a
because it's
breakout
defense.
season for Deuce?
What Deuce give us last year? On average, 8 points
Right,
a
9.
game, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if Deuce were to somehow break out and have, and he's giving us 12 a game on a high percentage 3-point shooting, high percentage field goal percentage, a high field goal percentage from the field, that might be a nice little breakout for him. You know what I mean? Because even last year, I don't think he shot that well from the field. Shot well from three. I don't know what his percentages were from the field. They might have been low percentages from the field overall, but he's proven that he's got a pull-up game. He can shoot the three. If he gets, a little bit better dribble, where he can go off the dribble and attack a little bit better, and I'm sure he's working to add that to his game. Because from the beginning, Deuce is going to have the spot, I think, from the beginning. I think it's going to be Deuce, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, Precious, and then there's going to be that one spot where I'm assuming you're going to bring Bridges to play in that spot there, right? So he can get some time without Randall, without Jalen Brunson. So I think it's going to be Deuce, and then guys like Campaign and Tyler Kolek, if Kolek is even on the 15-man roster. I guess maybe he is on the roster already. So, he's on the 15-man roster already. They're gonna have to beat out Campaign for that next spot. Whoever else is there is gonna have to beat out Campaign. But I think Deuce is going to have the upper hand, right? He already has Tom Thibodeau's trust. He knows Tom Thibodeau's system. He knows his role. He's been there. He's stayed ready. I think Campaign has to beat Deuce. I don't think Deuce has to beat Campaign. That's what I think.
Agreed.
Right. That's what I think. And if Deuce gets the playing time and he's improved his game, he could be primed to have a breakout season to be, maybe a little bit of a surprise. I mean, there's a bunch of guys that it could happen, and it shows the depth of the team. When you talk about how many guys could possibly be a surprise player. But I do agree with you. I think the likely person, the player who is set up the most to have a surprise season is Jericho Sims. I think he's the guy who has the biggest opportunity because, all right, Precious is there, and he's got to beat out Precious, but he has the size over Precious. If he's added, I've seen him working on his post game. If he's added to his post game, I think he'll have that chance. Obviously, he's got the leaping ability. He'll have that chance to beat out Precious and maybe be a surprise player for the Knicks. I think it's set up for him to be able to do it. If there's going to be one, I think it's set up for Jericho Sims to be able to have that kind of a surprise season. I don't know what a surprise season would be for him as far as averages are concerned. But I think it's set up for him to do it without there being a straight up, a consensus backup center. It's set up for him to do so.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for so many different like every individual player I'm like excited for. I'm excited to see what they bring, what they learn, how they grow. But yeah, he's got a big opportunity. We've seen some, little workout videos working on that floater, something that was so successful for Hartenstein last year. But yeah, that just the fact that they're saying that he's finally getting to work out in the off season. Maybe we see some growth right from the beginning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Trey the Third said, with Sims getting the playing time by default, I 100% agree. I don't know if he gets it by default. I think he's got to beat out Precious. I think he's got to beat Precious. And that's not going to be easy because Precious, showed some stuff last year. D. Coolis said, unless Sims has developed a mid-range, I don't see it. Precious doesn't really have a mid-range either.
And that floater might be the mid range. You know what
For
I mean?
Precious,
Like that because that's what really elevated Isaiah last year.
yeah,
You know what I mean? That pick and pop, but it was a pick and floater.
pick
You
and
know what I
float.
mean? Like
Man, pick and float. Cody said, I'd love to see Sims have a breakout season. It would be nice. You know, it would be another story like Deuce last year. Deuce kind of had a breakout season. He can break out some more. It would be another story like Deuce. You know, just a player that, you know, came in undrafted. Well, Deuce was drafted in came in a second round pick, right? Came in as a second round pick, you know, had some chances, had to go back to the G League, had to, you know, didn't play, you know what I mean? But then finally caught on, and we'll see if Sims could do that. You know, Trey the Third said, I think Sims does have a mid range. Seems like our bigs just aren't allowed to use it. You can tell by his free throw shooting form and comfortability. I think he can shoot. You know, you got to be comfortable doing it in the game. I don't think Tom Thibodeau, any player that can score the basketball, I don't think he's going to stop them from taking a shot that they can make and that they've proven to him that he can make. I don't see why a coach would do that. Doesn't make sense. If a player has proven that he can make a shot, why would you stop that player from taking that shot? You know, that only hurts your team. You know, I don't see why he would tell him not to shoot it, or Mitch, or either center.
yeah, no, I agree. I think he if you're not showing it in practice,
That's
you
it.
know what I mean? Then yeah, here you go.
Yeah.
Once you're doing that in the game, but if you're showing it in practice and it's successful there, then by all means, he gonna reference that.
Right. Yeah. I know, man. What about guys? You know. Obviously, you have Tyler Kolek, but you got Dottier, and you got, you know, some other guys down there.
I like those guys too, man.
You know, could either of those guys surprise us and just, you know, be on the 15-man roster?
The messed up thing is, as you go down the lower end of the bench or lower end, something bad is gonna have to happen for these guys to get their opportunity. Unfortunately, so I don't. You know what I mean? I don't want them to. I don't want to see them because of that.
Right.
You know what I mean? But out of those guys, I mean, I like Okiki. I think he, like from what I've watched of him, he gives me Josh Hart vibes. So it's like another good wing defender. Like he fits right in there, right between Mikal and OG. But then his style of play, his hustle, his relentlessness is just gives me Josh Hart vibes. So I could tell like he's gonna be a guy that Tibbs loves. You know what I mean? Same thing with Harporte. But again, we're not gonna see him unless there's, you know what I mean, something bad.
Right.
Something bad
Right.
happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? But on the flip side, knowing what we went through last year, it's I feel like we're even deeper than last year. You know what I mean? Like last year, guys stepped up and had to come in and play up and play down, and you know what I mean? Like had to play out of positions. Now we got so much depth on the back end. If these guys do have to come up and play, at the very least they'll be playing in their position with their role.
Right.
So it's, yeah, we're in good shape.
Yeah.
And this is good shape for the future too. You know what I mean? Like even if these guys don't get their opportunity now, you know what I mean? We got, you know what I mean? Like we got a little minor league team.
Yeah.
Ready to rock. Ready to develop and come up.
Yeah, developing, ready to rock, you know? And that's what we wanted with the Knicks for years. Just, you know, the ability to have, you know, to grow players in the G League while your team is still competitive. You know what I mean? And the fact that, some of those guys, two-way, they're on two ways they can practice with, your regular team. That helps them get even better because they're practicing with NBA players already and all of that. The Knicks are in good shape right now financially. They're in good shape with players. They're in good shape with a championship window. They're in really good shape. And, you got some guys out there that have talent that could step up and, like we're saying, surprise us. We'll see who that player is going to be.
I'll tell you
if
what,
it's going to be one.
If Sims does pop off this year, they're gonna have to start really giving Tim some credit as the center whisperer or whatever they was calling him.
Right. Something. Yeah, for real. But yeah, I just wanted to have that discussion, man. Who do we think could be a surprise player for the team this year? There's a lot of guys, from OG to Dante to Deuce to Jericho Sims that could have a surprise season. So, we'll see how things start to shake out. That first game, I think it's October the 6th. That first game, we'll see how things start to shake out. I'm definitely going to the Wizards game here in D.C. I forgot the date, but I'm definitely going to that. One of the preseason games I'm talking about.
No, I hear. I'm in my head trying to figure out if I could finagle something, but
yeah, I think it's a Friday night. Right. I think it's a Friday. Maybe it's the 18th, October 18th or something like that. I don't remember, but
I'll see if I could pop up on you.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to that game because that's going to be close to it's either the last game or second to last game in the preseason. So we should be, close to getting some dress rehearsals, whatnot. Yeah. But anyway, man, I'm going to get up out of here. Got to get up early, get to the office. So, I'm going to go ahead and get some rest. Whatnot. Tony, anything going on you want to inform us, let us know about?
Monday show will not be at noon. It'll be around 3:00.
Okay.
And we're gonna talk about some awards and what Knicks might be in the running for some awards this year, whether it's MVP, whether it's most improved, whether it's defensive player of the year. You know what I mean? I think we got a couple of options on this team that first time all-stars, you know what I mean? Like we got a couple of options that could happen this year. So we're gonna talk about that.
No doubt. All right. Sounds good, man. Well, I'm up out of here. I see Greg just joined the chat. Greg, I ain't seen you in a minute. What's popping with you, my brother? But we up out of here. Peace.
Nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.